Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to yet another great edition of Topic Time with Harrison Young. It finally feels like spring. It's warm out. It's 68 degrees. Nice breeze in the air, and it's an awesome day. So before we get to the awesome guest I have here, we got to read the underwriters as usual, and then we'll get to him, and it'll be a wonderful show as always. We got Plimpton Cycles in Plimpton, great motorcycles and great service for your motorcycles. We got something for your dust, antiques and gifts in Plymouth. We got Smoke and Ashes Tobacco Company, the corporate offices in Abington with stores in convenient locations in Abington, Hanson, Hanover, Pembroke, Weymouth, and Whitman. We got Angels Auto Parts, also in Plimpton, right next to Plimpton Cycles. We got Dave's Automotive in Hanson. We got Hennessy Automotive in Kingston. We got Wicked Healthy Natural Foods and Supplements in Kingston, who actually recommended my guest tonight. We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. And we got MDI Auto Brokers and Repair, home of the fully certified used car in Whitman. And I want to thank you guys very much. And now we'll do the show. This young man here with the spike haircut, looks, well, the spike mousse thing he's got going on. I found out he's done a few things. He's also a radio DJ, but he's a stand-up comedian. Yep. I guess he does music as well. We're going to talk to him tonight. This is Chris. How do you say your last name?
Colonel Zicki.
Colonel Zicki?
Zicki, yes.
Okay, now I know you remind me. Speaking of Zicki, Zicki on Laverne and Shirley, Icky and Squiggy, like one of those guys. That's
okay.
who I knew. I knew you reminded me of someone from an old classic sitcom. And with that hair, that's who you remind me of. Have you ever seen that? You may be a little before your time.
I have never seen that.
Never seen that, yeah.
The hair reminds me of like a flock of seagulls when I'm like, whoosh,
okay.
I wanted to look like that, so.
Okay, well, you look
retro.
Good. Yeah, you look like you're a character of the game here.
Thank you.
So, Chris, you're all right. I was recommended to interview you because you're a DJ.
Yes.
And you told me. So let's break it down. We'll start with that. You're a college DJ, right? You're a student at Cape Cod Community College, and you're a DJ there.
Yep.
And how long have you been each in both, or whatever?
I've been. I started September 2018.
Okay, just last year.
Right.
Okay.
Learning how to be on the radio and the steps and the procedures, and I started having my show in October. And
okay.
It used to be Thursday mornings, but now
talk about your show. What's that like?
It's all like talk. I talk a lot. And,
okay.
Dry my mouth up.
Well, is it music too, or just talk?
It's talk and it's music.
Okay.
So I do like techno.
Okay.
If you know what that is.
Well, I've heard of it. I guess
right.
I leave that to the experts, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've been doing that since last year, and you're
right.
majoring in communications,
yes.
are you?
Yep.
Okay. So you're obviously pretty. How many mornings a week or is it in the morning when you do it?
I don't do that anymore. I do nights. I do 5 to 8 p.m.
Okay, but obviously today you got the day off
right.
to be here with me, which is pretty cool.
It's a college radio, so it's different than an actual radio station.
Right.
So
but it reaches the main FM band, doesn't it?
Right.
So people out, just like near where I live, Stonehill College is 91.3, and it's a very good station. I mean, I live less than a mile from the college, and I can pick it up on my FM band when I'm exercising in the morning very easily. And I'm sure people on the Cape feel the same, they feel the same way about your station, and they probably like your show very much. When you do a show, how long did you say you did it for? Like 3 hours a day when you do it?
Yeah, 5 to 8.
Yeah, that's 3 hours. Okay,
right.
in the evening, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's mostly 5 nights a week.
No, it's just Wednesday night.
But today is Wednesday, but today you got the day off specifically for this. That's great.
Right.
All right, now you mentioned you did some other things too. Now, with every guest I interview, I try to backtrack to what they were like as young kids, and I assume you're not too old. You look like, maybe late teens, early 20s.
I'm 20.
20, okay. So, what were you like as a real little kid? How did this end up getting you where you are now? Just sort of talk about that, and I'll interject with questions if I have any.
I was a very shy kid, didn't really have much friends. I was bullied and picked on, and I just was
relate.
that type of kid that never really said much in school, and kind of outrageous. I used to get.
You acted out.
I got in trouble a lot when I was a kid. So,
okay.
But
because you felt pressured to be, because people were giving you a hard time, and you wanted to fit in.
Right.
So I know how it is. I went through exactly the same thing. I can just tell you right now. So I know what that's like. Believe me. And but to this point in your life, you certainly turned it around. At least you've been creative. I know you and I are both creative people, because I takes one to know one, and sometimes creative people are persecuted for whatever reason, but then they turn it. They say, listen, I gotta go to the beat of my own drum, and I'm gonna come come through a lot stronger and louder because of it, and they do, and we have. and you know, I can and you've started a lot younger than I did.
Right.
Well, when I was your age, I was writing books of poetry and stuff
That's
like
nice.
that. So how about you? Do you ever write anything?
No.
Okay, you've
I
never
don't-
written anything.
Don't like really poetry and that stuff.
But you mentioned that you do stand-up comedy, right?
I do. I blurt out random stuff.
Okay, well, when you
Yeah.
say stand-up, do you actually do it, you know, like in front of a lounge full of people?
There was one time I did it and I didn't like it because nobody liked it, so I just stopped doing it. So
Well, you just did it once?
I did it once. Yeah.
Okay, well, does that mean you're never going to do it again?
I will do it again when I think of something funny to say for the audience. It was kind of like, it was funny, but it wasn't funny. You know,
It was funny to you, but it wasn't funny to them?
Right.
Yeah,
So
okay.
like when I'm like DJing and people aren't having fun, you want to make sure they have fun. You
Yep.
want to make sure they laugh.
Right.
So I think it wasn't that funny, so I just said, never mind, I won't come back again.
All right, so you tried it, it was like, what is it, like an open mic somewhere?
Yeah, it was an open mic at my school.
Okay.
So,
But the kids think you're pretty good on the radio, right?
yeah.
Okay, I saw the pictures on Facebook, and it looked like you had a pretty good following of people on the radio.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
got, I don't know, hopefully I've got a lot of viewers, or listeners, but
Well, that's easy enough to find out. I mean, you go out and ask around. Have you? Well, let me ask you this: when you do DJing, do you do it by yourself?
yeah.
Okay, you run the board and all that stuff.
Yep.
And believe me, I know that's no easy feat. I've run the board for people too, on AM radio, like talk radio. Okay, do you ever have guests on your show?
I always have guests. yeah.
Okay. And you want to talk about some of them, whoever you had on, and what? I mean, just not. You don't have to mention any specific names unless you want to. But I was just wondering what you've talked about with your guests. Obviously, what they're about. So
Right.
talk about.
I've had my one of my good friends, close friends, on the radio show, and we just
Okay.
talked about like upcoming events coming up and like the Patriots, sports. and-
Okay. So this was
Nothing
before the
too
Patriots
exciting.
season ended, and obviously
Right.
it ended well for everybody, the
Right.
Patriots Nation. Do you ever do any sports talk on the show?
Not really. I'm not really into sports, but
Yeah.
I do mostly like entertainment news, like.
Okay.
you know.
Okay, kind of like what I do here.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. So I'm just curious, how did you meet Anthony Bevilacqua? I know he's the one who recommended you.
My mom and I, when they first came to Kingston, you know, the store came to Kingston, we saw it, we walked in, and first thing they were such like a welcoming people.
Okay.
We got numbers, and I said I'm a DJ, and then that's how we became like friends on Facebook. And
Okay,
yeah.
how long ago was that?
Oh God, probably 3 or 4 years ago.
I just want you to know too that person at the Smoking Ashes Tobacco Company that I mentioned. Well, I didn't mention the person, but they want to know a little more about you too. I told them I'm having a radio DJ coming on the show.
Oh really?
And and they said have them contacted Smoking Ashes Tobacco. Just it's in Abington. In fact, I'll give you the number before we leave. I read it out during the underwriters.
Okay.
And then you can talk to them, and maybe you can work something out with them too.
Sure.
There's nothing wrong with networking with anybody that you can, especially maybe they can underwrite your show. I don't know if did you ever have that on your show too?
Never had that. No.
Okay, I don't know how that works in college radio, but eventually if we're going to be moving on to pro radio, which is eventually.
Yeah, like
Right.
Maddie in the morning.
Maddie in the morning, right?
Right.
Okay. Now I want you to, if you can. I know I asked you if you had anything on YouTube. You said no. But, as I'm sitting here looking at you, I'm thinking, well, I'm wondering what he sounds like on the air. I don't think I could pick up your station from Brockton because it's too far away. But let me hear a sample of your work. Let's pretend I'm your listening audience in the morning and do like a 2-minute bit. Can you do that?
I could try. Yeah.
Go ahead. See how it sounds.
You know, the opening starts out, you're listening to 90.7 WKKL, the Cape's commercial-free
Wait a minute.
alternate radio.
isn't it CC?
WKKL. Well, CC is Cape Cod Community
Okay.
College. WKKL stands for McKay Building. I don't know
Okay,
what
so
the L stands for.
that's the name of those
Right.
colleges. All right, keep going.
So it's like, you're listening to 90.7 WKKL, the Cape's commercial-free alternate radio. And then I talk about like upcoming events at Cape Cod Community College. Like
Okay.
we had the open mic night coming on Thursday at 6 p.m. Free event. Come to it.
Okay.
You gotta sound exciting.
You sound like you're good. You bring people in. That's important.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever made a demo reel of what you've done? I mean, I'm going to ask you this: would you ever consider maybe transferring to Emerson or a school like that?
I could possibly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could.
I'm only saying that. I mean, you're probably having a blast at Cape Cod, but the reason I'm saying Emerson is because if you go there, you can specialize in stuff and possibly have more opportunities for employment after you graduate.
Right.
Right.
I've done a recording on my show, and I always record my show and
Okay.
keep it on my computer. So I mean, sometimes
That's
I
great.
edit it out,
So
edit stuff out.
you can play. Have you ever sent it off to anybody? Just wondering.
I have a friend named John Lear on Facebook. He's
Okay.
a Hollywood actor.
Cool.
He's the guy that played the Geico caveman.
Is that right?
Yes, and
I know. Yeah, with the bearded guy with the
yeah.
long hair. That's your friend?
that well, we're not like close friends, but we're Facebook friends. And
Wow.
he's originally from I think Oklahoma. Don't get me wrong, John, if you're watching.
Okay. Don't worry about it. I'm sure we'll forgive you if he's. Okay.
But he lives in Los Angeles now, and he's
Right.
like a big like movie star. And I told him about this, about this show, and he listens.
You mean
to
my show?
Yeah.
Woo!
I tagged him on your.
That
on my
is so
Facebook,
cool. I can't wait to see that.
Facebook page.
Well, I reckon. But does that beard he wears in the commercial real or fake?
It's fake.
Oh, it is.
It's fake.
So when
It's
I
not
question
real.
you is if he's not wearing the beard when you tag him, am I going to recognize him?
Probably will.
Okay.
He's got the big top on, the big
know.
head, but yeah, you'll see him. He's with Gary Busey in the background.
Wow, Gary
So,
Busey.
yeah.
No kidding. That's so
I can
cool.
show you him after.
No,
Yeah.
no, I know that we
Really
will.
nice-
I will
really nice
definitely do
guy.
that. Speaking of acting, have you ever done any film acting, play acting?
No, I love acting though. I've just never had the time to do it. I
Okay.
really want to get into it.
Right.
It's a dream.
Because I always tell people that I interview, the more multifaceted you are, the more opportunities you're going to have. You pad your resume,
Right.
the more people are going to know who you are. The fact that, if you can impress, I mean, my deal is this. I'm always looking for more people to interview. If Gary Busey and John Lear and anyone else sees this interview and they think this guy's got something, maybe I can interview him. Maybe they'll come east and do an interview.
Maybe Chris Cooper. You know him?
Well, what does he do? Probably by face. What does he do?
He's a Hollywood actor. He actually lives in Kingston.
Right, but what's he been in?
Oh, he's been in.
Oh, you were telling me about him, right? Yeah, you saw him in Shaw's.
Chris Cooper, not Shaw, Stop and Shop.
Stop and Shop.
He's been in like The Patriot and The Muppets.
Okay.
So
Oh, so he's in the Muppets?
in The Muppets, he plays Rex.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
the voice of Rex.
Right. the
Okay,
voice of
so
Rex,
he's
yeah.
but that's the animated stuff. Has he done anything, for real? Like, I mean, it's all for real, but has he played a character in any major film that you're aware of?
The Patriot. He's played.
Oh, The
like,
Patriot, sure.
Yeah, with Mel Gibson.
Right,
and
yep.
He's been in a lot of movies. I don't even know what they are, but he's been in a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I know. Did you try to get him on your show at the radio station interview?
That wasn't him. That was somebody else. There was another person that I know, Johnny Elves.
Okay. Let me ask you this: have you
What's
ever the people you've interviewed on your show, have they all been students at the school?
Yes.
Okay. Another suggestion: you might want to try to reach outside the box and talk to people that maybe aren't students that would be interesting guests.
Right?
You know,
That could be like Steven Tyler. I
Exactly.
could interview him.
You did what with him?
I could interview him. Email his producers or managers.
You should definitely do
I
that.
will, yeah.
If you do that and you get him on your show, let him see if you come to here too and do my show.
I will.
Have you been in contact with him at all?
No.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting you should say that because I've had two musicians on my show that have played with the Joe Perry Project.
Really?
Joe Perry is the Aerosmith, his Aerosmith bandmate, but he's got his own band independent of Aerosmith. David Hull and Charlie Farron. I had David Hull on in Marshfield when I did the show there. I had Charlie Farron on in Bridgewater when I did the show there.
Wow.
Charlie Farron is also. You ever see the TV show Community Auditions on Channel 5?
No.
All right, it's America's oldest TV talent show, and it hasn't been on for a while. It went off the air for many years, and then it came back. But
Okay.
Charlie Farron he's one of the sitting judges.
Really?
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
it's-
So he's a pretty big deal.
So he's like Simon Cowell, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. He's not quite as strict as Simon Cowell. He's a very easygoing guy. He's kind of like his personality is just the opposite. I remember when he came to be on my show, I was very lucky to have him on because people like him are pretty busy, and the fact that he was able to give me a half hour of his time last year was pretty impressive.
Wow.
Very impressive. So speaking of comedians, do you have any favorite ones? I'm just wondering.
I've got tons. Jim Carrey really inspires me.
Okay.
Him.
Any female comedians?
Amy Schumer. I love Amy Schumer.
Anyone else?
Melissa McCarthy.
Keep going.
Will Ferrell, I love.
Okay.
There's so many.
How about Sarah Silverman?
Huh?
Sarah Silverman?
I know her, yeah. She's all right.
She's my cousin.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
She's only all right. I like that.
Well, I mean,
That's okay.
didn't
I'm
mean it like
putting you on the
that.
spot. No, it's fine. It's
is
fine.
she really your cousin?
She's really my
you
cousin.
grew up with her?
No, I did not grow up with her. She's a lot younger than me. She grew up. She was a child when I was already in my. She came to my grandfather's 80th birthday party in 1983. She was like 12 then, and she was the youngest guest. Nobody knew who she was. She grew up in Bedford, New Hampshire. Her grandmother and my grandfather were siblings. That's how we're related.
Okay.
And I only actually met her for the first time a couple of years ago when she was performing at the Wilbur Theater in 2017 on April 28th. And we had backstage passes. And I told her about the show, and she goes, "Oh, Topic Time, sounds interesting." But I haven't got her. I'd like to get her on as a guest, but if I can't, I mean, she's always on the West Coast.
Right.
Yeah, I mean.
Hollywood.
What's that?
Hollywood.
Yeah, I know,
Where they all
Hollywood.
are.
But I've had plenty of people on my show that have been in Hollywood. And
Really?
Oh yeah, I mean, I had Steve Sweeney on last fall right here in your chair. He was the big comedian. He's from this area. I had Johnny Pizzi on last week, who performed with Lenny Clark.
Wow.
Oh yeah, and hopefully that show will. If the show's up tonight, I can share it. Hopefully it should be. So now, in terms of stand-up, you should see. Actually, if you've ever written anything, you might want to sit down sometime and just brainstorm a little bit. Write about your life. See if some of the things even if you berate yourself, that might be funny because some people can think. A person who can laugh at himself or herself can go a long way in the industry.
They can.
It can.
I do face impressions too. I can do Fire Marshal Bill.
Go ahead.
You gotta get it. Gotta get the veins.
I like it.
And of course, I'm missing a tooth too.
Deliberately?
So,
How come you're missing that tooth?
I was at school and I blew my tooth by a bagel. The
Okay.
bagel just ripped the enamel
Ooh.
off, and it went. Yeah.
Hold on. What, you mean at college?
No. My school at Silver Lake.
Oh, Silver Lake. So you were still in high school then?
Yeah, I was still in high school. Yeah.
Wow. I know it must have sucked, but I always say everything happens for a reason.
I know, right? Well, now I have no tooth. It's so fun because you're in the pool and you can just make the sprinkler.
I know. People, look at you and people.
know, right?
It's a cool look for you.
I know, right? Just smile and
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's your tooth? It's missing.
All right. Well,
Gold tooth.
people care enough to ask.
Yeah.
No. All right. Now, in terms of I told you you should, the type of people you might want to interview with the type of people I interview. You might want to, when you're on Facebook, have you ever reached out to anybody in the acting world, modeling,
I
or
have.
musicians?
My uncle,
I mean, you talked about John Lear and Barry Busey. Anyone local besides the other guy that you mentioned?
my uncle, I call him my uncle. He's actually one of my really close friends.
Yep.
My uncle Jeff.
Okay.
Knows and is good friends with Johnny Elves.
Okay.
Johnny Drama
Right.
from the show Wahlburgers, and
Right. I know the Wahlbergs.
I went over his house and we talked. It was fun. He's his recording studio. He's not like an actor.
Okay.
He's been on a couple of shows, but it's all scripted. It's like
Well, that's kind of, that sounds like acting.
well, yeah, it's reality.
Oh, I see what
show,
you mean,
yeah,
right.
So it's not like
Has he been on the Wahlburgers?
oh yeah, he's been on them. He's a guy that's started to get Mark Wahlberg famous.
Well, why don't you see if you can get? I mean, you're not going to lose by asking him if you can get one of the Wahlbergs on as your guest.
Hey, you never know. I can get Paul on. Can give you all burgers.
Yeah, give me Wahlbergers too.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, exactly. Now, speaking of music, do you play sing at all? Do any music ever?
I sing
Okay.
sometimes. I sing in my car alone.
You sing in your car alone, but you never performed in a band.
I get stage fright. I don't really want to sing. I've got a bad voice, so.
It doesn't sound so bad. Well, your talking voice. I know you have to work it. But you've never played a musical instrument, sang as a kid, or done.
Oh, I play piano. I DJ.
I know you DJ, but
guitar. I do
Right.
drums. I wanted to be Blue Man Group.
Oh,
when I
okay.
was older, and I just.
You have to paint yourself blue, though.
I was Blue Man for Halloween. I'll show you later on. I
Okay.
was them for Halloween.
Cool.
So.
Okay, so by yourself you did it, because it's a big. That's
Oh,
a,
no,
that's
no,
a
my
lot
mom
of
had to help
that's a
me.
lot of people.
My mom had to help me with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. Now, the people that you interview at school that are aspiring to to other things in the entertainment industry as well.
There's a couple of students at my school that my best friend that was on my show. She wants to get into that.
Okay, okay, she wants to get into what, like
The entertainment industry.
Entertainment, like acting?
Acting and singing and
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So you never actually done any real acting though, per se.
No, but there is a program in Boston called Boston Castings, and they're doing
I know there is.
this
I've
thing
been on the
for,
mailing list for 15 years.
Oh really?
Oh yeah,
I
went
signed
to the
up for it, so it's like let's do it. Let's get some acting going.
Exactly. But don't just rely on Boston Casting. There are other Facebook acting groups you can look that you can join. One of them is Hollywood East.
Okay.
You should look into that on Facebook. The girl that founded it is actually a Facebook friend of mine and a real friend of mine. I interviewed her on my show back when I was doing in-home interviews. And she had an apartment in Malden. This was in 2012. And she started this thing back, well, I don't know, probably 2010, something in that neighborhood of years. And now she's got about 10,000 members.
Wow.
What that means is if there's anything to audition for in the area, locally, there's plenty of stuff that you could audition for. If you have, I know you're probably so busy with your DJing,
Right.
but if you have something like if you want to do something on a Saturday, there's always like people. The guy I had on a couple of weeks ago, Reno Venturi. You might want to check with him. He lives in Connecticut. He's got this actors workshop down there, and he posted something. They're looking for some kind of a role. For some kind of a role that you got to check it out for yourself and see. I'm not really. I've done plenty of acting, but my show is basically my thing now.
Right.
I really don't even have time to act anymore, and plus I don't get paid much when I do. And oftentimes that it's time consuming, and you have to really commit yourself to getting up early in the morning, which I really don't like doing unless I really have to. But for someone like you, I mean, who's just starting out, it might be it might be something you can look into.
Is it like commercials too?
Commercials too. You might want to.
I could be the new OxyClean guy. That'd be awesome.
You could be what?
I could be the new OxyClean guy.
Yeah, there you go.
OxyClean.
Yeah, and also the people that run your radio station at school, do they have like a specific format that you have to follow, or do you make up your own deal?
I can make up my own show. But
Okay.
yeah, you have to follow like the rules and like regulations, like no swearing.
I
and
understand
stuff. But
that,
I'm,
right.
like, yeah, like we're gonna do the Howard Stern show, but like the FCC is watching.
I understand if they are watching, but let's suppose. What about the idea of possibly doing taking some friends aside and doing like a little comedic skit on the radio?
I was gonna do a podcast. That's like.
Yeah, I know what it is.
My,
It'd be great.
My manager, professor, told me that I should do that. I'm like, yeah, I will. Thinking about doing that over the summertime, doing like a comedy podcast.
That's perfect. But in the meantime,
Random stuff.
summer's not far off. I mean, you're going to be out of school probably in about 6 weeks, right?
Today was my last day.
Today's your last day?
Yeah.
Then get forward. Get to it, young man.
All right.
Yeah. If you got someone that'll help you do a podcast, have a meeting with them and get some people involved.
David Burke. You know him?
David Burke. I know Darius Burke.
He's a guy that just says every swear in the dictionary in his podcast. Every swear. He always get in trouble by the FCC.
Okay. Well, if you do a podcast, the FCC has no control over that. That's what I'm saying. You can say whatever you want during
Really?
Yes.
Well, then maybe
You ever watch Joe Rogan? You know who Joe Rogan is?
No.
Joe Rogan has like the 5th highest rated podcast, the highest viewed podcast in the country.
Really?
And he had Sweeney on after I had him on.
Todd Sweeney?
No, Steve Sweeney, the comedian. So most of his, if you watch, you ought to do is YouTube Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan Experience, the Joe Rogan Show. You'll see tons of his stuff, and you'll see all the views he gets.
I will.
Yeah, I mean it's easy to do. You just Google it, YouTube Joe Rogan on YouTube. Boom.
Sounds familiar.
He's out west, but he's from Boston originally. He was a comedian here. He started, I believe, his entertainment career like in 1988, which I'm guessing was probably about 10 years before you were born.
Yeah, I was born 98.
98,
so.
right? That's what I figured. So okay, so that's what you definitely should look into doing. Now you haven't. So that means since you've never really done any acting, you have no IMDb credits. You know what IMDb is?
Yeah, it's like this.
The database for anything in film and TV.
I could just lie and say I was.
Well, the reason you don't have to lie anymore because my show was on IMDb and you're going to get a credit for being on it.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. That's going to be your first credit, just for being on my show
my
tonight.
face will be on IMDb.
If you want it on there, you put it on there.
Sure.
If you want, I mean that's what I'm saying. If it's on there, I mean if it's not on there now, in all likelihood, by the time I attach the show, it won't be. But if you attached it, it would be easy to identify you. Otherwise, you're going to be like, it's going to be the first. I mean, it'll be the first credit for you. But if you had your picture on it, people would see you.
Right.
Right.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. I mean, that's up to you to take care of.
Yeah.
You got to get on IMDb Pro and make it happen. I'm on Pro. That's about $150 a year to keep.
I was going to say, yeah. I
Right.
don't have that money.
Well, but anyway, guess what? We're under 5 minutes to go. So we made the half hour go by. So what I want you to do in the remaining time is give a few shouts out to people that are going to see the show and say, and then we'll condense them and then we'll wrap the show up. You can start with Anthony if you want. Say thanks, Anthony, for bringing him in.
Thank you, Anthony, for letting me
Gary
come in.
Busey and John Lear and whoever else.
Yeah, Gary Busey, if you're watching, thank you so much. And John Lear and Johnny Elves and my mom and dad and sister and dog.
Yeah, right.
In heaven.
Oh.
Yeah, cat. Thank you, everyone else that's watching. And next time, I guess.
Okay.
Again, next time. Yeah.
All right, so today's your last day of school,
Yes.
Well, and I know you talked about doing a podcast. Do you have anything else lined up between now and when you start your podcast?
Other than like this, my radio show, and that's about it.
Well, you're still going to be doing it even though school's over?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
still
okay,
doing
you
it,
just
yeah.
go to the campus and just do it?
Just go on the campus, go
But
inside.
so people are still going to be there and hearing it,
Right,
And
yeah.
people in the town, and people. Now, how far is the range of the station? How far? How many radius miles of radio
I don't know
miles?
the miles, but I know like how far. Like, so here's Barnstable and here's the bridge. It's
Okay.
about like from the bridge to Barnstable, and then from P-Town to Barnstable.
Is Cape Cod Community College in Barnstable?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I
Right
thought it
off
was in
exit
Bourne.
6. No.
Okay.
Exit 6.
And how many times? Right, I haven't been down there in a while. It's like 4 or 5 towns after you go over the bridge, right?
Yeah, it's
Okay, there's Falmouth, there's
Sandwich.
Wareham, right, and then after that it's Barnstable, right?
Wareham's up where Bourne is. You got
Right,
Sandwich.
but Wareham, right? That's where you cross the bridge.
Oh,
It's
right, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But then once you get over the bridge, it's Wareham and then Falmouth and then Barnstable, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's 3 towns. So you have a pretty good little range there.
It's nice.
Now you mentioned the fact that you were going to Berkeley for something. What was that about?
I was touring Berklee College of Music yesterday
Okay.
for my radio class. We were touring the, it was a music production facility. We were supposed to visit the radio campus,
Yeah.
but we didn't have the tour instructor, ran out of time. But it was a lot of fun. We
Okay,
learned
that's
a
good.
lot about like audio equipment, and there's a lot of talented people there.
Well, just don't be
So,
afraid to call people at Berkeley and see if you can get them on as musical guests. Nothing
Might as
wrong with
well.
having live music on your show.
I know, right?
Hey.
Techno. It's an EDM show, so I don't really play like opera or anything. I do play a lot of old music too, like
Okay.
Bee Gees.
Well, have
and-
somebody live on it. All right. Well, guess what? We're going to wrap the show up. I hope you had a good time
I
with
did
me.
have a good time.
Okay. Hope you covered all the stuff. And that's it. So you ready to jiggy with it with the music?
Jiggy,
Speaking of
jiggy,
great
let's,
music. All right, folks. Thanks for watching another great episode of Topic Time. To follow next time. Take care. See you next week. And that's a wrap.